get started on our backs. So take a comfortable position lying on your back. You can bring the knees up to the sky, you can let the legs go long, you can bring the soles of the feet together. Do whatever feels good. And make sure you're nice and broad through the chest. So maybe cactusing out through the arms or letting the arms come into a capital T. And take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And let it go through the mouth. One more in through the nose. Out through the mouth. And then start to breathe in and out through the nose. And then start to fold the knees in towards the chest, giving them a little squeeze. Send the left leg long, take both hands around the right shin and then squeeze the knee up in towards the shoulder. And then see if you can take it off to the side a little bit as if you're coming around the rib cage and draw it to the armpit. And bring it back in through center. Start to straighten the leg up to the sky any amount. And you can hold behind the calf, the thigh, wherever. And take a point and flex through the foot. Maybe some circles through the ankle. And see if you can curl the toes up and then flex the toes, really articulating through the entire foot. And then you're going to bend in through that knee. Take the left hand to the right knee, the right hand off to the side. Move the hips a little bit to the right. And then draw the knee over towards the left, coming into a spinal twist. And then bring yourself back through center and we'll switch it out. So send the right leg long, draw the left knee up in towards the chest. And just start by hugging the left knee in towards you. Strong grounding through the right leg. And then start to take the left knee up and around the rib cage. See if you can draw it up towards the armpit. Gently anchoring down through the right hip. And then coming through center, starting to straighten through the knee. Take a grip behind the leg, point and flex through the ankle. And maybe take some circles and play around, seeing if you can flex and extend the toes. Draw the knee back in towards center. Take the hips a little bit to the right and then draw the left knee over to the right side of the mat, gazing out over the left arm if that's comfortable. And then bring yourself back through center. Hug both knees in towards the chest and either rolling to one side or rolling the length of your spine, make your way up to a seated position. So you're going to cross through the legs. On your inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. And then as you exhale, take the right hand down, the left arm up and over. Ground down through the left sit bone. Maybe the right forearm can come to the ground, but only if that left hip stays. Stretch long through the fingers. Inhale, bring yourself through center. And then as you exhale, take the left hand down, take that right arm up and over. Reaching nice and long through the fingers, maybe gazing up a little bit towards the sky. Inhale, bring yourself through center. As you exhale, stay heavy through the hips. Start to reach the fingers as far towards the top of the mat as you can. And then start to bring the hands down to the sit-bones start. So try and be heavy through the hips, even if that means that your hands need to be way in towards your shins. Up, and you're just going to change the cross of your legs, so put the other shin in front. Then we'll do the same thing. We'll inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, and then as you exhale, nice and heavy through the hips, keep a nice long spine, meet your edge, and then bring the hands down. Start to walk yourself in, and you're going to roll over your shins and make your way onto all fours. Or you're going to scooch off to one side and make your way onto all fours. So hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. As you inhale, draw the sternum forward through the gateway of the arms as you let the belly drop towards the floor. And then as you exhale, think of pressing the floor away, rounding the spine as if you could scoop the nose and the tailbone towards each other. Inhale, lead with the sternum, tailbone comes to the sky. And then as you exhale, press the floor away. This time as you inhale, you're going to start with your tailbone. So think of the tailbone coming towards the sky, then start to drop the middle back. Then the chest comes down towards the floor, and finally the gaze comes forward. And then as you exhale, you're going to tuck the chin to the chest, start to round through the upper back, and then through the mid back, lower back, and finally the tailbone comes to tuck. So if this feels hard, it's because it's hard. And then you're going to release the tailbone first, try and keep everything else rounded. Start to drop through the rib cage, the upper back, drop between the shoulder blades, and then finally the gaze comes forward. And then we'll reverse it. So tuck the chin in towards the chest, start to press the upper back away, middle back, lower back, and then finally the tailbone comes. And now we're going to do it the other way. So keep the rounding in your spine, start to take the gaze forward. See if you can start to drop the chest towards the floor, and then slowly keep rolling through the rest of your spine until the tailbone comes last. And then as you exhale, you're going to start with the tailbone. So keep the chest forward, start to round through the tailbone and the lower back, and then draw up through the belly, and then press the upper back away, and the chin will tuck. Just one more like that. So we'll start with the gaze coming forward. Keep the rounding in the lower spine as you drop between the shoulder blades. Mid back, lower back, tailbone comes last. And then keep the arch in the upper spine. Start to tuck through the tailbone. Round out through the lower back, the belly. Then start to press the floor away. And then the gaze will come towards the knees. Bring yourself back to a neutral spine. Keep the left hand planted as you inhale, sweep the right arm up to the sky. And then as you exhale, set it down. Inhale, take left arm or left elbow up to the sky. Exhale, set it down. One more on each side. Inhale, right arm or elbow. Exhale. Inhale, left arm or elbow. Exhale. This time, inhale that right arm or elbow. And as you exhale, you're going to thread it underneath the left, coming into a thread the needle. So coming to rest on the back of that right shoulder. And if it's too much to have the hips up, you can always send the hips back towards the heels and take this into more of a child's pose. If you want to go further, you're going to take that left arm, sweep it behind the back, and reach it for the inner right thigh. And take the left hand by the face. As you inhale, sweep the right arm up to the sky. And then as you exhale, set it down. Inhale, take the left arm or elbow up. And then as you exhale, you're going to thread it underneath the right, coming to rest on the back of that left arm. You can stay here or take that right hand behind the back, reaching for the left inner thigh. Or you can sink the hips back towards the heels, coming into more of a child's pose. And then take the right hand by the face. Inhale, sweep the left arm up. And then as you exhale, set it down. From here, we're going to tuck under the toes. So you might need to assist your pinky toes. And then we're going to start to sit back onto the heels. So this is going to feel intense. If you can't get your hips all the way back to your heels, you keep your hands down on the floor. You can always put a block in between your heels and your sit bones if you need to. And if this is really just too much on the toes, then you can always just come to sit flat feet. But the idea is that we're stretching out the bottom of the feet, which often don't get a whole pile of attention. So if this is enough, you can stay here. Otherwise, we're going to interlace the fingers. Think of that gentle rib to hip connection. As you inhale, you're going to send the palms forward and then start to reach them up and overhead. So you're only going to go so far that you don't feel yourself doing this. So as soon as you start arching through your back, that's your limit. And think of pressing the hands away a little bit more. Take a nice deep inhale, feel the rib cage expand. And then exhale, slowly release down. And then we're just going to switch the cross of the fingers and we're going to do exactly the same thing. So as you inhale, start to press the hands forward, up and overhead, only to the point where you feel you can keep that connection through your midsection. And take a nice deep breath right into your diaphragm. And then as you exhale, slowly release it. You're going to take the hands down in front of you. Keep the toes tucked under, and we're going to send it all the way back into our downward facing dog. So take a moment to pedal out through the feet, sending one heel down to the floor and then the other. And just like we did in our cat-cows, we're going to take some rolls through the spine. So as you inhale, you're going to raise up onto the toes. Think of tucking the tailbone as you ripple through the spine, coming forward into a plank pose. You can always drop the knees and come to a tabletop if you prefer. And then as you exhale, you're going to think of someone pulling you up by the hip creases as you come all the way back into your downward facing dog. Raise up onto the toes, start to ripple yourself forward into your plank. And then as you exhale, as if someone's pulling you back at the hips, all the way up and back to downward facing dog. This time you're going to drop the heels over to the right. Stay for a couple of breaths, taking a nice deep bend in through the right knee. You should feel a really big stretch in through the left shoulder. If that's too intense, you can always feel free once again to drop this down onto the knees, and you're kind of coming into a twisted child's pose. From here, keep your twist, raise up onto the toes and start to shift forward. So now you're in a kind of a twisted plank. And then you're going to take the hips all the way up and back, center through the heels, coming into downward dog. And then you're going to send the heels over towards the left. Take a nice deep bend into the left knee or come into your twisted child's pose variation. Strong ground down through that right hand. You should feel a nice big stretch through the right side body. And then keep the feet over towards the left. You're just going to start to shift yourself forward into that twisted plank. And then take it all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Center out through the heels. And take a look towards the hands. Start to walk the feet up towards the backs of the wrists. And take opposite hand to opposite elbow and just let yourself ragdoll forwards. Maybe shaking the head yes and no. And then slowly start to roll yourself all the way up. Just standing. I'm just going to change sides because my microphone's over here. Okay, so we are going to do some sun salutations. So come to the top of your mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step the right leg back. The knee can drop if you want to. Exhale, plank pose or tabletop. Hold the breath, lower the knees, chest and forehead. Inhale, peel the chest through, baby cobra. Exhale, hips up and back, downward dog. Inhale, step the right leg forward, the left knee can drop. Exhale, fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step the left leg back, knee up or down. Exhale, plank or tabletop. Hold the breath, lower knees, chest, forehead. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left leg forward. Exhale, fold at the top. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step the right leg back. Exhale, plank or table. Hold the breath, lower knees, chest, forehead. Inhale, peel up, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, step the right leg forward. Exhale, fold at the top. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, left leg steps. Exhale, plank or table. Hold the breath, lower knees, chest, forehead. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg steps. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, raise the arms. One more time through each. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right leg steps. Exhale, plank or table. Hold the breath, lower knees, chest, forehead. Inhale, peel up. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg steps. Exhale, fold at the top. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, left leg steps. Exhale, plank or table. Hold the breath, lower knees, chest, forehead. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg steps. Exhale, fold. Inhale, raise the arms up. exhale, hands to heart center. Take the feet hips distance apart, and as you inhale, you're going to bend the knees, send the hips back, coming into chair pose. Take a peek down. Make sure that you're not collapsing to the inner edges of your feet. Your knees point over the second and third toes, and you're lifting up through the inner arches of the feet. The weight is in the heels. You should be able to play the piano with your toes. If you can't, I'll be very disappointed.
You see my feet, right?
And take one more breath here in your chair pose. And then we're going to take the hands to the hips. Shift the weight into the left foot, and we're going to draw the right knee in towards the chest. So same thing here. Make sure that that left knee doesn't just collapse towards the big toe. Keep it pointing forward. And if it's too much to have that foot lifted, you're just going to come to balance on the big toe. Take one more breath. And then we're going to straighten all the way up to standing. Draw that right knee in towards the chest. Take the hands, and just like we did on our back at the start, you're going to think of drawing that knee up in towards the shoulder. One more breath here. And then we'll slowly release that right leg. As you inhale, sink the hips, bend the knees, come into your chair pose. Set up your strong foundation, and then shift the weight to the right. Make sure the knee's not collapsing. Start to come up onto the left big toes, and then start to draw that left knee up any amount, knowing you can always keep the toes on the floor for balance. You should feel your right glute engaging, so around your right hip to stabilize the knee and the ankle. And then start to straighten out through that right knee, drawing the left knee in towards the chest and hugging around the shin any amount that is comfortable for you. And then slowly releasing. From here, we're going to take a tree pose. So we're going to shift the weight back onto the left foot. Take the hands to the hips. The sole of the right foot's either going to come to the ankle, the calf, or the upper inner thigh. Make sure that you're not dropping out through the left hip. Think of pressing the left thigh into the right foot into the left thigh. And then hands can come to heart. They can come up and overhead. You can sway them from side to side. Make it as easy or as difficult as you want to. Knowing that we start with balance to bring our attention to the here and the now. Knowing that if you fall, it's totally fine. It's just a yoga pose. Slowly bring the hands back down through heart center. Take the right foot down, and we're going to take it straight to the other side. So ground down through the right foot. Sole of the left foot will come to calf, ankle, or upper inner thigh. Strongly press the thigh into the foot into the thigh, and then take the hands to where you want them to go. Remembering to keep breathing slow and steady. Slowly bring the hands back down through heart center. Take the left foot down. Ground down through the left foot. This time we're going to cross the right ankle over the bottom of the left quad. So make sure it's not on the knee. You can stay here, or we're going to start to bend into that left knee, almost like we're coming into a single leg chair. Hands can always come to the floor or blocks for extra balance, or you can hook the elbows over the shin, coming into a deeper hip opener. If this really doesn't work in your body, you can always just take this down to the ground and do a figure 4 stretch here. If you're standing, you're going to press through the left foot, come back upright, and then everybody's going to change direction. So if you're on the floor, you're just going to switch the other leg on top. If you're standing, your right leg is going to ground, and then you're going to slowly start to bend in through the right knee. Hands can come to the floor, maybe the elbows hook over the shins. And then slowly coming up. If you're on the floor, make your way to standing at the top of the mat. We'll all inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. And then as you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come into a halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. And then as you exhale, step the right leg back, lower the back knee, pad the knee if you need to by doubling over the mat. Untuck the toes, and as you inhale, sweep the arms up, coming into your Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Take a moment to take your hands to the hips. Make sure that one hip isn't way back and way forward or up or down. You want your pelvis relatively neutral. Think of lengthening the tail towards the floor as you lengthen the crown up towards the sky. Take one more inhale here, and then as you exhale, Ardha Hanumanasana, straightening out through the front leg, reaching the chest forward, drawing the left hip and heel back. You can feel free to play around with the point and the flex of the foot here. Notice that if you point the foot, you'll feel more of a stretch through the front of your shin, and then when you draw the toes back towards you, feel it in the back of the leg. So do what feels the best for you, and feel free to alternate between the two. And then start to bend the left knee, plant down through the right hand. The back knee can lift or stay down as you sweep the left arm up towards the sky, coming into your simple twist. Take the left hand down to the floor, step the right foot up to meet the left. Inhale, come into your halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Step the left leg back, pad the knee if you need to, lower it down, untuck the toes. And then as you inhale, sweep the arms up towards the sky. Checking in, making sure one hip isn't drawing out a lot more than the other. Try and draw both hips right underneath the shoulders. One more inhale here, and then as you exhale, straighten out that front leg, Ardha Hanumanasana. Once again, feeling free to play with the ankle. And reaching the crown of the head forward and drawing the right hip back. And then planting down through that right foot, take the left hand underneath the left shoulder, back knee can lift or stay down. Sweep that right arm up towards the sky, opening the chest to the right side of the mat. One more breath here. And then as you exhale, take both hands to the top of the mat, step left foot up to meet right. Inhale, come into your halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale, circle, sweep arms all the way up. And then as you exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to go into another little balancing sequence. So take the hands to the hips, shift the weight to the left foot. You're going to cross the right knee over the left, bend into the left. If you can try and wrap that right foot behind the calf. Arms come to capital T, right arm crosses underneath left. Bend at the elbows, backs of hands together, or maybe you can make it to the palms together. Wherever you are, you're thinking of reaching the elbows up and away, sinking the hips down and back. Trying not to let that right hip swing forward, gently draw it back in line with the left. Slowly start to straighten out through the legs, unwind yourself. Shift the weight to the right, cross the left leg up and over, maybe the ankle wraps around. Take the arms wide, left arm comes underneath, right, bend at the elbows, and then either backs of hands or palms will come together. Elbows will reach forward, hips will sink back. Slowly make your way all the way up to standing and release. Shift the weight back onto the left. We're either going to come into standing split or warrior three. So start by taking that right leg back behind you and having the fingertips on the floor. So you can always start in a forward fold and then just lift that right leg up behind you. Fingers can always be on a block. You might choose to stay here. The right hip is rolling down towards the floor. All 10 toes point towards the floor. If you want more of a challenge, really engage through that left leg. Start to float the left hand behind you and then the right hand behind you as the torso comes up to the height of the hip, working towards parallel with the floor. And if you want to challenge yourself more in warrior three, then you'll start to sweep the arms forward in front of you. And then as you exhale, we'll fold it forward. Everybody come into standing split. So the right heel reaches high towards the floor and the hands walk in towards the foot as much as you can. Hands can always be on a block or fingertips. And slowly release the right leg to meet the left. Start to sweep the left leg up behind you. Stay here, coming up onto fingertips underneath the shoulders. Or start to float the right hand behind you and then the left hand behind you. The torso will lift so that it's in line with the hips. Keep drawing the left hip down, the right hip back. Maybe you float the hands out in front of you. Slowly start to fold yourself forward, coming into standing split. The hands walk back towards the foot and the head is nice and heavy, looking down towards your shin. And then left foot meets right in a forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Step the right leg back, keep the knee up, and as you inhale, you're going to upright the torso, coming into your crescent lunge, knowing that the option to come back down to the knee is always there. Just like you did on the ground, make sure that one of your hips isn't doing something weird. Lengthening through the spine. And make sure that you can see your big toe on the front side. Take one more inhale here. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to straighten out through that front leg, coming into extended pyramid, knowing you can always drop the back knee and come back into Ardha Hanumanasana. From here, you're going to start to bend the right knee, clamp down through the right hand, lift the left arm to the sky, coming into our simple twist. You can stay here, or you're going to start to lift the torso, twisting yourself towards that left leg. Then cartwheel both hands back towards the top of the mat, step the right foot up to meet the left. Inhale, come into your halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Step the left leg back, keep the knee lifted if you can, and as you inhale, hug the right hip in, upright the torso, coming into your crescent. So make sure that that right knee is pointing directly forward. Hold for 5 more breaths. Take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, start to straighten out through that front leg. The back heel will reach towards the floor, but it won't touch. Draw back through the right hip as you reach the sternum towards the toes. And then start to bend through the right knee, plant the left hand, inhale, sweep that right arm up towards the sky. Stay here with the hand on the ground, or start to float that left arm to the front of the room as you upright the torso. One more inhale, and then as you exhale, take both hands to the top of the mat, step left foot up to meet right. Inhale, come into a halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale, sweep yourself all the way up to standing, and then as you exhale, hands to heart center. Take a nice wide step on the mat. You're going to turn the right toes out parallel to the long end of the mat, the back toes in, float the hands out. Take a nice deep inhale, and then as you exhale, bend deeply into that front leg, coming into your warrior two. So take a peek down, make sure that you can see your big toe. And we're going to hold this one for a few more breaths than we normally do. Yeah, just to lengthen your stance, because you can go a bit deeper in that knee. Yeah, that's good. There we go. I just want to protect your knee. One more breath here. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to straighten through the front leg, maybe walk the back foot in a little bit, hinge at that right hip, coming into triangle pose. So the front leg will stay straight. Gentle bend in the front knee. You can always take a block to the inside or the outside of that ankle. Think of leaning up against the wall. so the shoulder blades are spreading like big wings. And you can stay here, or we can take this up to balance. Take the left hand to the hip, start to bend the right knee, take the right hand forward about a foot, and then start to hop that back leg in until you can float it up behind you, coming into half moon pose. Left hand can extend up towards the sky, and you're strongly engaging through that left hip to keep the left leg lifted. Take one more breath here, and then slowly start to step that left leg back. Bring yourself all the way up to standing, and we're just going to take it all the way to the other side. So turn those left toes out, heel to arch alignment, the back toes turn in slightly towards the front of the mat, and then, excuse me, nice deep bend in through that left leg. Checking your alignment points, make sure you can see that front big toe. If arms get tired, you can always take the hands to the shoulders, or bring the hands to interlace behind the head and the elbows will go wide. It's a nice chest opener. From here, you're going to exhale, straighten out through the front leg, maybe step the back foot in a little bit, hinge forward at that left hip, coming into your triangle pose, with or without a block.
Love you. So much fun. We're going to do this in a couple months. Yeah. Yeah.
See you, Lily. That was really nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
From here, you're going to take your hand to the hip, and maybe we're going to hop it up into our half moon pose, taking that right leg up towards the sky and then spiraling the chest open towards the side of the mat. So your left leg's down, your right leg's floating. Yeah, there you go. And then slowly we're going to release that right foot. Inhale, bring yourself up into a star shape. And then as you exhale, you're just going to take a wide leg forward fold. So feet are parallel to the short edges of the mat. Hands are coming down to the mat. You can walk the hands back in between the feet. You can take them to the big toes. You can do whatever feels good for you here. And then as you inhale, you're going to raise all the way back up to standing. We're going to do one more little hip opening sequence here. So turn the right toes out. So we're coming back into Warrior 2, heel to arch alignment. And then we're going to come to side angle. So like you do in triangle, imagine someone's pushing that right hip back to hinge the torso forward. Right forearm can come to thigh, to the inside of the leg, or to the outside of the leg. A block is always an option. Wherever you are, as always, making sure that right knee is pointing forwards. If you want to stay here, this is a great place to stay. If you want a bit more of a shoulder opener, you can start to reach that left hand behind the back, and maybe it comes to snuggle on the inside of that right leg. If you want to stay there, that's great. Otherwise, you can start to bend a little deeper, take the right hand underneath the right leg, reach behind the back for the left. And then from here, you're going to release both hands to the inside of the right foot. Start to come up onto the left toes. Walk the right foot a little bit to the right, turn it out on an angle, stay with the foot flat, or you can roll to the outside edge of the right foot. Maybe the back knee drops if you want to, maybe the forearms come down. You can always bring the forearms to a block. And start to raise up onto the hands if you came down. Walk that right foot back in towards the center. Drop the back foot. We're going to inhale all the way up to our warrior two. And then straighten out through the legs, and we're just going to pivot over to the other side. So turn the right toes in, the left toes out. Start by coming into your warrior two, set up your foundation, and then hinge forward at that left hip, forearm to thigh, hand to inside or outside. Block is always an option. And if you wanted to play with binds, you can reach that right hand behind, maybe reaching for the left hip crease. Maybe the left arm comes underneath the left leg, reaching for the clasp. And then we're slowly going to release those hands to the inside of the left foot. Come onto the right toes. Walk the left foot over to the left. Turn it out on an angle. Maybe roll to the outside edge of the foot. And then maybe lower the knee or maybe lower the forearms. Do what feels the best in your body. Always feeling free to move. And then you're going to come back onto the hands if you came down. Plant down through the left foot. We're going to step into Malasana, so you guys can turn towards the front of your mats if you want to. We're just going to bring both feet to the outsides of the hands. Feel free to have a block underneath your hips or to roll up your mat if your heels are coming way off the ground. Wherever you are, try not to use your elbows to just wedge your knees open. See if you can engage your hip muscles to open up through the hips. And then sit nice and tall through the spine. From here, we're slowly going to release. Wait for the truck. We're slowly going to release all the way onto the ground, so it doesn't have to be fancy. Get there however you want to get there. And then we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Knees are nice and wide. And start by sitting up nice and tall. So take the hands behind the hips and get really tall through the chest. This might be exactly where you stay, and this is great. If you can keep the length in the spine, maybe you take the hands forward and maybe you start to fold forward. And then from here, we're going to keep the right leg bent, send the left leg straight, bring the sole of the right foot to the inner left thigh. Inhale, lengthen out over the left leg, and then as you exhale, fold. If you want a little bit more of a stretch in through the right side body, you'll take the right hand to the outside of the left foot, and then the left hand comes underneath to the inside of the left foot. And that just helps you to be able to draw over a little bit. And if you can't reach your foot, then you're just going to grab for the calf or the thigh or wherever you can get a hold of. And then from here we're going to start to bend through that left knee, and we're going to come into cradle the baby. So we did this the other day. You can keep the right leg straight. The foot can either come to the elbow crease and the elbow crease. You can forklift your arms, or you can just grab a hold of the knee and the foot with your hands. Do whatever feels the best for you, and take some movement. So it might be back and forward, it might be circles. Feel where it's a little bit sticky in your hip and just try and mobilize into that space. And then we're just going to release that left foot to the inside of the right thigh and come to the other side. So as you inhale, sweep the arms nice and long. And then as you exhale, start to fold forward over that right leg. Maybe the left hand comes to the outside of the foot and gently helps to draw that left side of the body forward. And then slowly start to bring yourself up, and we just did the left hip, didn't we? So we'll take the right leg into cradle the baby. So whatever variation you did on the last side, you'll do on this side. And then we're going to slowly release that right leg long. And we're going to make our way all the way down onto our backs. And then from here, we're going to cross the left ankle over the right knee. Nudge the hips a little bit to the right. Draw the knees in towards you. And then let the knees fall over towards the left side. So that left ankle will be acting as a little bit of an anchor on the right knee. You should feel a stretch down through the side of your hip. See if you can keep that right shoulder on the ground. And if this really doesn't work in your body, you can always just feel free to draw the knees together and come into a regular spinal twist. And then draw yourself back through center, and we'll just switch it out. Cross the right ankle over the top of the left knee. Scooch the hips a little bit to the left, draw the knees in towards you, and then let the knees fall over towards the right. Gentle drawing down to the ground with that left shoulder. draw yourself back through center. Then reach around for the feet or the backs of the calves or the backs of the thighs, coming into happy baby pose, letting the spine rock from side to side. And then draw the knees in towards the chest, roll the nose up towards the knees, give yourself one final squeeze, take any other movements you feel like you need. And then on your exhale, let everything release nice and long. Coming into your Shavasana or your final resting pose, knowing you can always be seated, take your legs up a wall, cross the legs, do whatever feels good. Just trying to tune out everything around you and bringing yourself back to the inner space, checking in with what you need and acknowledging any thoughts without judgment, without attachment. When you're ready, slowly bringing some life back into your body, wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. Giving yourself a nice full body stretch. When you're ready, taking a moment to roll over to one side and rest. Ready, making your way up to a comfortable seated position, keeping the eyes closed. And we'll bring the hands together at the forehead today. As you go forward, may you be gathered in your thoughts. To the mouth, may you be kind in your words, and to the heart, may you have patience. Namaste.